PJNet Live on Wednesday night, December the 11th. Our first guest coming up right now is Lori Hayes. She and her special guest are in the green room waiting, and we have a bumper rolling. We have an active and happy chat room. We have all cameras aimed and in focus. We will switch to Studio 6 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome and Merry Christmas here at PJNet Live. Behold the beautiful scenery. Our PJNet Live studio, otherwise referred to as the Eagle's Nest, has been moved to the beautiful state of Hawaii, and that picture was taken by our guest who is standing by with her special guest. And those of you who have been here before will know that Lori Hayes has only appeared once before, but she will be appearing monthly as part of our PJNet team. And we're looking forward to the Roaring 20s. Lori, great to have you. Glad everything worked out. Sorry to catch you while you were, taking care of your dog. You done with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And she's ready.
She
wants to be a movie star tonight.
This is one of your props tonight, I assume. Lori, last time we got together, we were talking wild horses and art and I don't know, all kind of stuff like that. And you mentioned, you touched on the fact that you had kind of rescued a dog, but now you get to tell the whole story. So set it up, tell it I'm going to drink coffee.
Okay. My daughter, she wanted a dog for years, and I kept telling her, no, I don't want a dog. And not to mention, I'm actually allergic to dogs. And this is Aria. And my daughter finally talked me into getting a dog, so she went to the Humane Society, and she had her heart set on a different dog. And I kind of dragged my feet, and I felt really bad about that. But by the time I told her yes, it had been maybe 48 hours. And so we went down to the Humane Society to adopt the dog, and she was adopted that morning. And so my daughter was just crushed, and I felt horrible because I felt like it was my fault. So then I told her, actually, I said, God has a better dog for you, another dog that's better suited for you. And we didn't know at the time. Several months went by, probably about 9 months. And I was at work, and I kept thinking about going to the Kauai Writers Conference, which is a huge commitment financially and time-wise, and trying to get time off work. And one of my coworkers said to me, Lori, you just need to do it, and God will provide the money for you to go. And I wanted to believe her, but I wasn't sure that I actually completely believed her. But I went ahead and I decided that I was going to go ahead and invest in the trip to Hawaii. And sure enough, by the time Hawaii came, I started getting money from just various places, and God provided my entire trip to Hawaii. It was amazing. So, and I actually wanted to go there. One of my favorite authors is Kristen Hanna, and she was teaching a master class on writing. And I thought, gosh, I would love to be a best-selling author someday, a New York Times best-selling author specifically. And why not learn from the best? So that was the original reason I actually wanted to go there. But also Sarah Gruen, she wrote Water for Elephants, she was going to be there also teaching classes. So that was another reason that I wanted to go to, because I loved her book. I don't know if you've read it, but it's a great book. So I jumped on a plane and I went to Hawaii, and in one of the pet classes, she was teaching about it was a Water for Elephant is about a horse. Horse. It's about an elephant in a circus. And so she was teaching a class on pets and stories with Garth Stein. So she had this dog there, and I didn't know that the dog belonged to her at first. and the dog had like a service dog vest on.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sitting in the back of the room with her husband, but then she joined her at the conference table up front, and she was the star of the show. She completely rocked the entire pet class. And she was sitting in a chair like she owned the place next to Sarah, between Sarah and Garth. And then before we knew it, she put her front paws up on the table and she was just looking at the crowd. And then before we knew it, she jumped up on the table and everybody was laughing. But it was just the funniest thing. And then at the end of the class, she asked if anybody was interested in adopting a dog. And yes, we were interested, and we had been looking and couldn't find another dog. So I kind of raised my hand. So she told me to come up and talk to her afterward, and I did. And so we started talking about Aria, which this is Aria. I don't know if you can see her while she's laying down, but anyway, at the Humane Society, her name was Eunice, and then Sarah named her Bunny. But then when I brought her home, my daughter named her Aria. So she has a couple different names, like me. But
yeah, Aria is just a pen name anyway, right? That's
it's exactly just like Lori Hayes, Lisa Morgan.
Yeah.
So
you're in my contacts as Lori Hayes. That's all I got. Yeah.
Okay, as I write children's books under Lisa Morgan as well.
I see.
So, oh, she's getting comfortable here. Can you still see her?
Barely. That's all.
Wait a minute.
I think she's getting sleepy.
She's bored with this whole process. She's used to stardom. So I started talking to Sarah about possibly adopting her, and then I ended up getting visitation rights while we were at the conference. So I would babysit the dog for her so she could do other things. And I think one day she wanted to meet her agent for dinner, and so I babysat and took her for a long walk, and we sort of bonded and got to know each other. And I guess I fell in love. So I started taking pictures and sending the pictures to my daughter and asked her if she was really interested in this dog. And she said, absolutely, yes. So that's kind of how it started. I think I was at the conference for 7 days. I had 3 days left. And instead of sightseeing, I spent 3 days at the Humane Society trying to adopt her. It wasn't an easy process like I thought it would be. Getting clearance to fly, getting her a crate that she could fly in. She had to have, she had to have some kind of shot or something. And we had to wait 5 days, so she didn't actually get to fly out with us. Oh. So, yeah. So it was quite a process, actually, to get her adopted. And we actually had to return her to the Humane Society because our time had ran out.
Right.
So when she actually got here, she remembered me when she got out of the crate, and she was very, very happy and excited. And I have to chuckle because so it's actually our 1 year anniversary was at the end of November. And that's why I actually wanted to do this. But there were leaves on the ground. And being in Hawaii, she had never seen leaves on the ground before. It was really funny to see that. And then, of course, our first snowfall. She had no idea what snow was. And to get her to go out to the bathroom, and that was quite a chore. But
I was going to ask a couple things. One, how this was a year ago, but more importantly, I think you kind of made the decision, you and your daughter, to adopt the dog about halfway through the conference. So here's my question.
Yes.
You spend all this money to go to a conference. You wind up with a dog. Did you, at that point, learn anything from the conference, or just dog?
Oh, no. I learned so much from that conference. It was amazing. And, in fact, I would love to go back maybe next year. I highly recommend it. It was a great conference.
Well, maybe they'll have the next one in Aruba instead of Hawaii, or somewhere like that.
Well, that would be nice too. But Hawaii was pretty nice too. So
You think? Okay. Well, I have never been to the great state of Hawaii. Don't know. I'm not a beach person, that's for sure. And got one of those pop-up thingies on my computer. Sorry, while we. Let me take a little break for a minute, Lori, because we have apparently everybody's dog lovers out there.
oh, good.
Our chat room is just booming here. We have Data Genesis. Oh, that's me. Against Treason is with us. You can find him here a lot during the day. Ben Cooper, I think, is here for the first time. Ben, I exchanged a message with Ben earlier today. Didn't get back to him, but I look forward to talking to Ben tomorrow. Say at 11 o'clock. Is that good enough, Ben? We'll just do all that. And Doug Carter is here. Hazards 4, who hosts our Friday night program. Come join us Friday night. J.D. Winninger. Oh, if you were here last night, you certainly know J.D. What a great brother in Christ. I really enjoyed. We had a nice long talk today. And Rachel Colby is here, award-winning writer, originally from Jamaica. And Renee Leonard Kennedy is here. Renee, oh boy, do I have some things to share with you. I'll share them with everybody. I've been sharing them. But anyway, Sunbelt Girl, who is my producer, co-host, and right-hand, well, man. She's not a man, obviously. And Tammy from Georgia is here. I tell you, I don't know if the word got out that your dog would be here, but if we're not going to have your dog every week, we want you to come anyway, okay? All right, because Lori does have a story to tell other than the dog. So why, you said it would had this service vest, the harness, service dog. How does that impact her home life and her life with you?
So she's not a service dog now, although she certainly could be. But in order to have a service dog, you have to have a diagnosis. So we don't actually need a service dog in our family. So she doesn't actually qualify for that. Mm-hmm. But she was a service dog when we were in Hawaii. She was Sarah Gruen's service dog, mm-hmm. which is why she was at the conference to begin with.
I see. Well, that's great.
I guess she was there for emotional support, I suppose.
So you go to a conference, you come back with a lot of good knowledge and information, wisdom and memories, and a dog. Now, at what point did your daughter know you were coming back with a dog?
About halfway through, we just kept talking about it. And then while I was at the Humane Society, which actually there's a little bit of a story there too. And I just kept her in the loop and kept texting her and sending pictures and telling her how the process was going. And then, and at one point and there's another story too about getting her on the airplane. But the first story was, I had decided I was going to go on a helicopter ride. I have never been in a helicopter, and this was the first day off, and we had to go and start the paperwork at the Humane Society, and I got sick about halfway through that helicopter ride. I was absolutely miserable, and I had taken some, is it called Bonine? Some kind of Dramamine.
Yeah.
And so not only did it wipe me out and make me tired, I was nauseous, and it was hot because the Humane Society and that lobby did not have air conditioning and the doors were open. So I was kind of sprawled out and crashed on the bench outside the Humane Society while I was waiting. They had tons of people in there, which is a great thing. They actually have a program where you can take a dog out for the day and mm-hmm. sightsee with the dog and then return it back to the Humane Society.
Oh, okay.
And I wish our Humane Society had that here.
Sounds like a great idea.
The place was mobbed, so I was just kind of sprawled out on this bench until they called my name. It was absolutely miserable.
And you're trying to present yourself as a responsible adult, and
and I will never take out. You can never say never, but I have no intentions of ever getting on a helicopter again, unless it's flying over that. If it's flying over the island with the wild horses, I might consider it, but that would be the only way.
Okay, so if in the future you get in distress and need to be rescued, I'll tell the Coast Guard, don't send helicopter. She won't get on it. That's a
That might be worth getting sick over.
if you're sick, you're alive, right? If you're yeah. But yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, I guess, in a public place, and you're.
They
Well,
were looking at me.
hey, at
They
least
didn't know if I was. They didn't know if I was hungover or drunk or what was wrong with me. So I had to explain the whole story to them.
I bet you did.
It
Well, at
was
least
a
you
little
didn't.
embarrassing.
At least you didn't have diarrhea. The
No.
the story continues now. You and I were talking today. You do a lot of photography, and I didn't. Well, this computer that we have today is not. It's not capable of doing what I want to do. But trust me, folks, that has been solved. It's just a matter of time. But you take a lot of pictures.
I do. just alone, just of the wild horses, I probably have about 9,000 pictures.
Gosh.
Not to mention all the pictures I took in Hawaii and everywhere else I like to travel to. And of course, my children. In fact, when my son was 2 years old, I didn't even know he knew how to say all this. But I like to sit on the beach with a 500 millimeter zoom lens. And he turned around and he looked at me. He said, "Stop spying on me." I didn't even know he knew that word. So I have tons of pictures of them all over my house.
That's great. Well, Lori, have you had? When was the last time we talked? Has it been a week or more? Been a couple weeks, hasn't it?
It's been a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Couple of weeks. Okay. Well, now this journey to Hawaii, you said, came at a time in your life where you were making. There were some transitions going on. Tell us about that.
Wow. I felt like I got the calling from God that I was actually supposed to quit my full-time job.
Which
And
was your full-time job was.
I work as an occupational therapist.
Okay.
So I help the geriatric population learn to walk again, dress again, bathe, get in and out of cars, anything they need to do to be able to transition from skilled care to home.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love that job. I thrive on it. I love it. And I felt like I was serving God in his mission, to help elderly people. And then here I'm being told, well, you need to quit and be a full-time writer. And that actually happened right before I went to Hawaii. And so just talk about scary going on a big trip like that, not knowing how you were going to pay your bills when you get home. But I had been saving. I felt this calling before, so I had been saving for at least a year and a half, preparing myself. So anyway, it's been 14 months, and I've been writing full time ever since.
And the lights are still on, I see.
They're still on. And I'm getting all kinds of opportunities, and I've been going to conferences and meeting people, meeting agents, editors, wonderful writers, authors. It's been a fabulous journey, and I'm telling you, it is the biggest leap of faith I've ever taken in my life. And there are times where it's absolutely frightening, but I'm still here.
Have you ever had second thoughts saying maybe I made a mistake?
Yes, especially when
the bills come due.
when the bills come due and you're thinking, I really need to get a full-time job. But the interesting thing was every time I would try to do freelance editing, I would try to get another job, anything, all the doors would close.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just quite obvious that I was supposed to continue to write full-time.
Yeah. Have you considered, maybe somewhere in between, maybe do a little work, find some part-time work or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of make you give it a cushion, give you a safety net down there. I mean, could work.
Well, all those doors were closed too until I broke down into tears, and
you're just unemployable. That's what it is. You're just.
But I'm not. And I just,
folks, if you would like Lori's resume, let me.
I broke down. I started crying. I just kind of lost it, and then all of a sudden, all this work started coming to me. So I am doing consultant work on the side, and I'm loving it again. And now I have absolutely more work than I know what to do with. So,
I know that feeling. I truly do. I feel so bad sometimes. But I'm not a writer.
but I just finished my book, so I just sent it off. So
All right, well, we're at 20 minutes, 24 seconds. You will tell us
Okay.
about your book next time. Anyway.
yeah. Oh, so the little story that I was leading to, they got to the airport with Ario because I wasn't there, so we had to pay the Humane Society a small fee to put her
Yeah.
on a plane. And
Sure.
this lady was a godsend, and she took her own time out in the evening to put Aria on a plane. And at the last minute, they said they didn't get any of the pictures I sent, and it was a big problem. But everything worked out, and here she is.
Wow. That's a long trip for a human to take, especially a dog. Well, Lori, I'm so glad you shared. I think your dog's actually asleep at this point. I'm telling
She
you.
is.
Oh, bless her heart. Oh, they really steal your heart, don't they?
She's
Lori-
the best dog ever.
Well, you hadn't met my dog. But anyway,
Best dog I've ever had.
there you go. Well, gosh, we're out of time. Lori, thanks for sharing with us. The good news is, or the bad news is, we're out of time. The good news is this will not be your last appearance. Lori is scheduled, and oh gosh, if you'll go to Facebook, find the pjnet.tv page, and you will see that she is scheduled every month. She will be with us, sharing with us, and we're glad to have you, Lori. Thanks so much for sharing this story tonight, and we can't wait to hear, well, the next story.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Folks, that was Lori Hayes, and I'm going to have to quickly dismiss everything because the Eagle's Nest is about to take on some renovations. We're going to remodel very quickly because Michelle Medlock Adams will be with us at the bottom of the hour. So we will take a little break, and we'll be back as PJNet Live continues.